Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Glasses and a British Accent Make It Seem Like You Know What You're Talking About. I'm Dr. Benjamin Mark Millard, PhD, MD, CPA, MLB, NFL. That's about it. We have an exciting guest with us today, Dr. Michael Nielsen. He flew in all the way from Ireland to be with us today. He's very excited to be here, as you can tell. Yes, let's get into it then. Yes, today we will be discussing a very exciting video. It gives us a viewpoint of how the education process works in various parts of the world. First of all, the several nations have gotten together with the plan by 2015 to have education free and available for all children in the world. It's a great plan. 189 countries involved, and we'll see how we're doing with that. Anyways, so there's a girl in Afghanistan. Her name, I have no idea how to pronounce. Shugalfa, I believe. She just loves school. Loved it. Couldn't get enough of it, actually. Unfortunately, in Afghanistan, the Taliban tries to oppose women's education as much as they can. It's actually quite sad. Her mother, illiterate, no education, hardly understands the need for it. In fact, my question is, how can people oppose such a wonderful, beautiful thing as education? Michael, your thoughts on the matter? Yes, he's as you can tell, he's quite emotional as well. Anyways, 75% of her classmates had dropped out by middle school, unfortunately. The situation is rather tense in Afghanistan. We should try as hard as we can to improve it as much as we can. But a good thing there, by law, religion is taught in the schools. I thought that rather interesting, seeing as in the United States it's rather illegal to teach about religion in the schools. What do you think about that, Dr. Nielsen? The issue. Yep, okay. Anyways, so school makes her happy, she loves it. But she has no time to study because she's at home working all the time. She's got to do all the work to get the food and the water for her. She's got some brothers who just go around playing all day. It's a mess, I tell you. What I think, my thoughts on the matter, that the people, especially the parents, need to learn to think of the long-term effects of what they're doing. They're thinking of the day-to-day, we need food, water, it's important. But they need to think of the long-term effects of how their children getting an education can drastically improve their lives. It's sad how they just don't have the resources to be able to do that. Something that we can be thinking about as the world to help these people. A quote from the film was, people who don't go to school live like blind people. That's very interesting. I imagine myself like, without his glasses, can't even read. Well, also, we learned about another child, Jefferson, in Brazil. I've actually been to Brazil. I've served there 2 years. Mission. My church in Brazil was very good. In Brazil, the average is 4 years of education per child. It's astounding, these numbers. If they grow up on the wrong side of the mountain, the odds are against them. The pure bad luck of where you were born gives you no chance of getting a formal education, unfortunately, in some of these areas. Interesting that the drug gangs actually provide protection for the children, and that when the police officers come in to enforce the law, everyone runs. Everyone's scared. I believe that is something that needs to be changed. Am I right, Dr. Nielsen? Yep. And one thing I did like, the government trying to do its part with the Bolsa de Família, which is a family purse, which means that the government helps families to get their children in school. As long as they're going to school, continue to receive money to help them. Dinheiro for the Brazilians, dinheiro. Anyways, his mum, unfortunately, the mother of this child in Brazil, she worries of her child becoming a drug lord, of her daughter becoming a prostitute, and that's a real threat in some of these third world countries. Excuse me. How can we change these things? How can we get them to focus on the things that are most important? Gaining good education. And there's a definite conflict in Brazil of children who are either behind, who don't understand the material and so drop out, or they're ahead and they get bored, so they drop out as well. So how can we get the education to be exactly what they need, to keep them interested, to keep them striving to do their best? What we need is, frankly, more funding for the education, to have better qualified teachers, more teachers, to give them their specific educational needs. For this, I will ask all of our entertained listeners to think about donating to programs such as the Perpetual Education Fund, as well as the humanitarian efforts throughout the world. But remember the long-term needs of this world. We now go to the country of India, where there are millions of children not in school. And those that are in school are not even learning the basics, such as arithmetic, writing, reading. There are many children that dream of school, but never get the chance. And there was a girl in India, the film showed. She had to work during the day, and she could only go to school at night. Her mother, unfortunately, thought that education was a waste. She had put her sons through school, and they hadn't done anything with it. They just squandered their days away, never learning. So something that the world needs to remember is that besides gaining an education, they need to learn to know what to do with it. After you get the education, you got to go get a job. You got to use your knowledge to go and improve the world, improve your own life. It's important to remember. And unfortunately, this little girl, she had to leave and go work. Didn't have any time for education at all. And by the time she'd gotten back to having time for education, she was well behind the rest of her classmates, and she couldn't handle it. She dropped out. We need the consistent education. Something that just got my knickers in a twist was that her parents were so naive. They didn't realise the importance of education. She needed to educate herself. Not, of course, learning to work hard is important as a child, but education has to be the priority in these circumstances. Then the last child we met was from Japan. Japan is doing quite well. Actually, nearly 100% of the children are gaining a secondary education. It's quite well, compared to 60% world average. Most of them were already reading quite well by the time they started first grade. In fact, it's actually gotten easier. It used to be a very rigorous educational process, but they've actually made it a little bit easier for the children, giving them more free time. Some people think this is not good for them. For example, the principal of a school thought that it was making them have no drive to learn anymore. They were losing it. And we're back. So in Japan, they actually have a great educational process, as we're seeing. They even have a nice little formal graduation ceremony, compared to poor little Jefferson in Brazil, who didn't even get to graduate, or Shugafa, who did not get to continue her education. It's just sad because of the Taliban. Also, the other girl from India, just worried about marriage, education. What's your thoughts on the matter, Doctor? Yeah, he's speechless because of it. anyways, that's about wraps it up. How we're doing so far: 75 million children still not going to school. By 2015, the goals have none. So we're on our way. Another year. Anyways, the last question to Dr. Michael Nielsen. Would you like to add any final thoughts?
Yeah, who are you? Where did you even come from?
And that's the show. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.